Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on senior college prep. I'm Mrs. Huey, and I'll be taking you through all the details on how to best prepare for the college admissions process. But first, I'd like to start us off in a prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, we lift up our seniors and their parents as they walk through the college application process. Grant them peace in the waiting, clarity in decisions, and trust in your perfect plan. May this season be filled with hope, perseverance, and a reminder that their worth is not defined by acceptance letters, but by your love. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to go through who is in the counseling department, our graduation requirements, the senior timeline for college admissions, college planning, the common application documents, college testing, the importance of Naviance, financial aid, and important dates to put on your calendar. So I love this quote. I have this quote in my office, and it's perfect for seniors going through this process. So remember, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future. God has got you through this process, through all of it, and He knows better than all of us, even through the rejections and the no's. He has a better plan than we have for ourselves. So keep that in mind as you're going through the college application process. So I love this video. I wanted to share this with you in the sense of being humorous because it can be stressful. And back in the 1900s, when some of us were applying to college, it looks like a very different landscape. So if you know the Holderness family, you know and love them. And here's a very short video on just what it's like to apply to college these days.
All right, this is the best part of my job.
Deciding who gets to attend our prestigious university.
How many applicants we got this year?
2005.
For how many spots?
2000.
Oh no, we gotta cut 5 kids?
Bummer. I hope they've applied to at least one more school.
Okay, how many applications do we have this year?
100,000.
What?
Are we even that good of a college?
I guess so.
This was my safety school when I was a kid.
If it was like this when we were teenagers, like zero chance we would have gotten in.
Oh my goodness.
What?
This girl got a 1,000 on her SAT.
Quadruple digits?
What? Is she like a computer?
I did not even know that numbers went that high.
I hope we don't lose her to like Harvard.
Accepted.
A 1,400 on her SAT.
Oof.
I know.
I mean, we're test optional. Why would she even put that on her application?
Maybe she'll make up for it with an amazing essay. Here's a solid applicant.
Tell me everything.
His essay is about his hero.
That's so heroic.
He says his mom is the wind beneath his wings.
He quoted Bette Midler? That's deep, man.
So vulnerable.
And
This says he lived without electricity and taught himself organic chemistry by candlelight.
but he didn't learn electrical engineering to rig up a light.
Guess not.
And he also didn't design a new photovoltaic battery.
You know, college isn't for everyone.
Holy cow, you see these extracurriculars?
Babysitting, and she made friendship bracelets at camp.
How does she manage to do both of these things in 4 years?
That's the sort of work ethic we need at this Ivy League institution.
She's basically the CEO of her own company.
We should give her a scholarship.
So she led clinical trials at a research institute.
Yeah, we have like 1,000 applicants that did the same thing.
Says here she cured cancer.
But only one kind of cancer.
Yeah, there are so many.
So many.
Do you think this feels like a wait list?
I mean, who isn't curing deadly diseases in high school?
Yeah, this is wait list. Whoa,
Is it another essay about overcoming adversity?
you know it.
Did he come from behind to win a cross-country race?
Better,
Did community service make him realize how lucky he really is?
better.
What possibly could be better than that?
Well, he tripped on a sidewalk, and then he got his dad to call the city, and then they fixed it.
He is so brave.
Oh, hey, buddy, what's your name? Oh, hey, my name is Accepted.
So this kid fled a war-torn country carrying a baby in his arms.
Only one baby?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I mean, he's got 2 arms.
I guess we need to choose between him and the girl who fought off a bear to save her entire family.
Let's put them both in the maybe pile and see if someone more deserving applies.
This applicant is amazing.
She tried so hard.
All B's, just a couple of C's, but those were really hard classes.
All that matters is her A for effort.
Oh my gosh, high school is so challenging.
She did great.
Accepted. Dean, dear college admissions offices, please don't hold this against our children.
Right.
We know you have a tough job.
Right. Apparently the number of applications are so much more than they were when we were that age. And I know that because I would not have gotten into any of the schools that I'd applied to if I were applying to them right now.
Not a
Yeah,
chance.
that would be a job I could never do. Like it would be so hard to say.
It's accepted.
It'd be hard to say no to one person, but imagine having to say no to like 85% of the people who apply.
If you were going through the application process right now, hearts,
Yeah.
we are not, we have a whole year, but then I've just decided I'm not gonna participate in it. This is her journey. And I'll just be here, just totally chill.
You're not going to participate and you're going to be totally chill.
I'm gonna be totally chill.
This is on camera. Check out though.
All right. Well, I thought that was super appropriate for the webinar and helping our senior parents as they're going through the college application process. Okay. So here's who's in the counseling department. If you are confused as to who your counselor is or still don't know, it's all listed in Aries. But as you can see, we have a lot of great and qualified counselors here on staff. And we have, I've listed on here the extra things that our counselors do to make the magic happen, to ensure that you all feel well supported and our school is just a great place for our families to be at as it relates to college admissions and academics and all the things that we do to celebrate our students. We will be getting a new counselor at some point, so look out for information on that. So here's our graduation requirements. I won't spend too much time on this, as you should know those by now. But what I did want to point out is that Christian service hours are due on January 30th. We are requiring that students have 20 hours of Christian service per year that they're enrolled at Mater Dei, or 10 per semester. Students cannot have any outstanding Fs. All Fs need to be remediated, or students need to go through credit recovery. But by the time of graduation, and all Ds should be remediated, but they're not required for graduation. But as a college prep school, we do encourage students to remediate Ds as well. And classes taken outside of Mater Dei for advancement will not count towards students' graduation requirements or their GPA. So here's a timeline of what students need to be accomplishing per month. In your senior meetings, we will be providing a checklist for all seniors to ensure they're on track for things that they need to accomplish and the deadlines for those tasks. So I'm going to send out this PowerPoint along with this webinar to all of our families, and you can read through the timeline as to what needs to happen to ensure that it is a stress-less, not stress-free, but stress-less application season. And by the spring, students need to make a decision, a final decision by May 1. If they need help throughout this process, their counselors are here to help them as they make their decisions, not just as they're applying. So a little bit about college planning. This is how to best approach the college planning process. So we really encourage students to find their college fit. But what does that mean? They need to find an academic fit, a place where, academically they feel like they can thrive. It's not too easy, not too hard, just right. Kind of like Goldilocks, right? And then a personal and social fit. Oftentimes, students are in class less than they are outside of class when you're in college, as we know. So they really need to find a place where they're going to thrive personally, socially, spiritually as well. Another thing that they should be keeping in mind is a financial fit. And that's something that you all, as parents, can work with your students on, really encouraging them to find a college fit, a college financial fit, because we know that college is very expensive these days. And we encourage students to only apply to schools they would want to attend. Oftentimes I hear students say, I'll just apply there because I know I'll get in, but I never want to attend there anyway. Well, one, that's a waste of time and money. And two, you only want to have a good balanced list of schools that you want to attend, whether it's a likely school, a target school, or a reach school. And we encourage students to have a list of 6 to 9 colleges and breaking it down into thirds. like I mentioned, with a likely target and reach. And, a lot of times students will panic apply, as I say. This is not like playing the lotto, okay? The more colleges you apply to, the more likely you're going to get in. That is not the case. This is more of intentional planning. And as we know, when you have too many decisions, if a student applies to, let's say, 20 and ends up getting into 15, that makes it a lot harder to make a decision versus having 3 to 4 solid options. So we want students to do meaningful research. Deadlines, they want to research deadlines, requirements, majors, activities, career placement, and the environment. This is where they're going to spend 4 years, maybe 5. They really want to know that they are going to love it there. We want to try to avoid students transferring if we can help it, right? And the way to come up with a good list is come up with 5 non-negotiables, values or characteristics of colleges that they absolutely need to have, whether it's the major, whether it's the size, whether it's the location, whether it's a postgraduate program, whatever it is, they should come up with their 5 non-negotiables. And we encourage students to visit likely and target schools at this point. Sometimes when students visit their reach schools and they fall in love, the likelihood of getting in is very low. So, it makes sense to spend your time, energy, and money on visiting likely and target schools, at least at this point in time. And I want students to keep an open mind. Just because they haven't heard of a school doesn't mean it can't be a hidden gem for them. For example, we love Chapman. Chapman is a great school. LMU is a great school. If you're coming from the East Coast, you may have never heard of that school before. It doesn't mean that it's not a great fit for what a student is looking for. And demonstrate interest where it counts. So some schools, like I mentioned, Chapman, LMU, University of San Diego, will see if a student is demonstrating interest. What that means is they're coming to visit with them. They're coming to make sure that they're reading their emails, they're connecting with a representative. Places like UCLA, Stanford may not necessarily really take into account demonstrated interest. And get organized, create a college app email, determine all the platforms like the Common App, the UC, the Cal State, the Coalition app, or direct to institution. Keep track of the deadlines, requirements, and essays. And these are deadlines, not due dates. So like students are applying or submitting homework on the due date, this is not the case for college admissions or college applications. They should create a deadline that's maybe a few days, even a week prior, and submit when they're ready. Don't wait for all this other information to come in, like letters of rec, transcripts, etc. So with early decision, these are college deadlines. Early decision is binding. All the early applications are typically due October 15th, November 1, or November 15th. There's regular decision deadlines that are coming up in January or February. Rolling admission, students can apply and usually they'll hear back within 1 to 2 weeks after applying. And they should focus on priority deadlines. And this is where the application is due so that students can be considered for scholarships. Just to keep in mind, the Common App and UC opened on August 1. The Cal State's open on October 1. And usually the submission cutoff deadline is by 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. So that's something to keep in mind. And usually the decisions are due on May 1, but students can make their decisions prior. So moving right along to application factors, here are the key ingredients for a strong application, aka our admission nutrients. So colleges will look at your grades and the strength of your curriculum. So it's not just about getting A's in, all these easy classes, right? It's also how are you challenging yourself through your academics at Mater Dei. They're going to look at any tests, ACT or SAT, if they're required or if you send those in. They're going to take a look at your resume, how you've spent your time in high school. They're going to look at your letters of recommendation. And then if there is an overall fit for the university, also known as institutional priorities. For example, if a school is looking to fill their Russian literature program, it's a new program, They're going to look for students that are interested in it. Not to say that you need to manufacture that, but some of these institutional priorities you really don't have control over. You want to create an overall picture of who you are through your application. Show curiosity. Make sure that you show that you are excited to learn. You're going to college to learn, to become an expert in a particular program or major. So that's what you want to show. It's not just, how good of a person you are, right? But how are you going to be as an academic at their university? Service is important. How are you contributing to the greater good? Collaboration. Can you work well with other people, especially people that are different than you? Colleges can be very diverse. So they want to know that you can get along with other people and encourage discourse. Leadership and initiative. How do you make a positive impact on others and take opportunities to do so? And consistency. So it's not about how many different things you did, right? It's not about filling that resume to the brim, but it is about the depth and intentionality of what you're doing and the impact of what you're doing and how long you've been doing it. So you want to go beyond academics. When you're working on your application, highlight meaningful extracurriculars, right? It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, and really painting a narrative of what is important to you outside of school. How do you spend your time? You can share your independent projects or personal passions, show your role in your community, right? And community can be defined in different ways. It could be the greater community, your church, your school, your family, your friends, your sports team, your theater program, your dance troupe. Anything can be a community to you. Include unique experiences that have shaped you. And ultimately, be your authentic self. Don't think about what colleges want to hear. Think about think about what you want to share, what's important to you, because ultimately they're trying to find a fit and you're trying to find a fit, right? So these are some things to really consider when you're putting forth your application. So I wanted to show you this diagram to let you know that the student is the monarch, right in the middle. You students are responsible for making sure the applications are completed and you're requesting all the things that need to go to the colleges. You're responsible for that. So for example, you're responsible for completing your applications, whether it's the Common App, UC, Cal State, or direct to the institution. You're responsible for sending the standardized test scores, whether it's the ACT, SAT, or AP scores. You're also responsible, with your parents' help, filling out any financial aid documents. And parents, I would encourage you to really help your students understand this, because they're going to have to do this every year that they're in college. You're responsible for requesting transcripts through Parchment in the initial, the mid-year, and the final. You're also responsible for requesting your letters of recommendation from your teachers, counselors, okay, and even outside of school. So you are responsible to make sure all of these things happen. None of these things happen automatically, right? So take charge, take ownership, and your counselor is here to make sure that you're on track for all of these things. So speaking of letters of recommendation, this is the process to ensure that you have your letters of rec submitted on time and well done, okay? So you want to identify 1 to 2 teachers from your junior year. You want to meet with them in person to request your letter. This was all due back in June. So if you're new to Mater Dei, you still have time to do that, or you can request your letters from your prior school and your counselor can help make sure that you get that done correctly. You want to email them the brag sheet, which is found on our counseling website. You want to provide detailed and thoughtful answers. Avoid vague responses. Give people enough time, at least 3 weeks prior to your first deadline. You want to provide the teachers with a list of your colleges and deadlines, focusing on the first one. Remember, October 15th for some schools, especially in the South, is the first deadline that is coming up. You want to request them through the Common Application or any schools that you're applying to that require them that are not on the Common App. You want to fill out what's called the FERPA waiver. which is the waiver to see all your recommendations. You have to waive your right to see those, otherwise we are not able to submit or write your letters of rec or submit those. And there is no need to wait for your letters of recommendation to be submitted before you submit your application. So you can submit your applications as long as you are ready. The rest of the items can be sent afterwards or before, okay? The colleges will create a file for you and start to collect all that data to complete your file. Keep in mind that the UCs and the Cal States do not require letters of recommendation. Sometimes they will ask for it, like Cal Berkeley, but they will tell you if they need it. So always follow instructions closely. You can confirm that the letters of recommendation have been submitted on your common application or your college portal. And teachers and counselors actually spend a lot of time writing you a letter of recommendation, and it is an important piece of the application process. So make sure you thank them. You can handwrite a thank you note. That always goes a long way, but it acknowledges the recommenders for supporting you through this process. And if you need more resources on how to request a letter of recommendation, the College Essay Guide is a great resource, and you can Google that, or there's a link here as well. For your counselors, you want to complete our College Vine brag sheet. That will be emailed, if it hasn't been already, to all of our seniors to complete. You want to update Naviance with all your colleges you're applying to, and here's an instructional video that we'll send out with this PowerPoint presentation. You also want to request the counselors on the common application. Our letter of recommendation is sent with the transcripts, the secondary school report, and the high school profile, which will complete your application. So with the transfer request, you will create a Parchment account, okay? You have to create your own college application email. And what I would recommend is that you have your parents have access to this, just in case you miss anything. You don't want that, right? So give your parents access. Parents get access to the college application email. It is a specific email just for the applications, not, your Yahoo account or your Gmail account from when you were 10. Okay, so make sure it's a separate one. You want to click and order transcripts, and the recipient should be Common App first year. You're going to just request one transcript for the Common App. The Common App you can apply to many schools, but you just need the one. That way you save money. It's only $7.50 for one transcript. You're going to continue and pay for the official transcripts to be sent, okay? And like I said, UCs and Cal States don't require letters of recommendation, nor do they require transcripts. So you should do this prior to applications being completed to ensure on-time delivery. You also must complete the process again for your mid-year, which is in January, your first semester grades, and the final transcript. We can only send to one school, okay? We cannot, if you can't make a decision, I'm sorry, we can only send a transcript to one school. The only caveat to that is if you're on a wait list, then we can send multiple transcripts, but only one final transcript when you make a decision. And Division 1 and 2 athletes must request the transcripts to be sent to the NCAA Eligibility Center. So for the common application, okay, this is the one that has hundreds of applications you can apply to. If you do not find your college on the common application, that means it's not on the common application, okay? So the FERPA waiver must be completed before we can submit. You have to select, I waive my right to review all recommendations. You need to input the correct deadlines under overview to ensure teachers and your counselor can submit documents on time. This is extremely important. If you put January 15th, which are applying early action, your stuff will not go in on time. Invite your teacher recommenders to each college. You just need to invite counselors once, and ours will be added to all colleges you are applying to. You also want to make sure that you input the correct Mater Dei high school. There's a ton of Mater Deis out there all over the country, so make sure it's the one in Santa Ana, California. You want to complete one personal essay and complete supplemental essays if required. And usually the question is, why us? And that goes back to doing very good research, not just if they're having, they have your major or if it's in the location. You want to deep dive into what programs, what activities they have. Why is it a good fit for you? And why are you a good fit for them? So college testing is A lot of colleges are moving towards requiring it or recommending it, but there's not that many across the country that require it. That's kind of a myth out there. I think there's maybe a little bit over a dozen that are actually requiring the test. Okay, so do your research and see which schools are requiring them. So we recommend that students take those multiple times. As seniors, you can still take them sometimes up until November of this fall. Um, Oftentimes, schools will allow you to send your tests and super score the test, which means taking the best sub scores and giving you a better score. Okay, so if you did better on math one sitting, but you did better on English another setting, then they'll combine those two to give you what's called a super score. You can test for more money. For example, Baylor University will allow you to test up until June before you start school to provide more scholarship money. So this is something that you should be asking the colleges when you're interacting with them. Are they going to take tests for scholarship opportunities? And when's the last available test you can take to increase your scholarship amount, if they do that? And fairtest.com will actually let you know what schools are not requiring the tests. And here's a link to some free resources to help you prep for those tests as well. So here are all the testing dates. Anything with an MD on it means that we are offering it at Mater Dei. So usually registration for these dates opens 6 months in advance. So you do want to sign up for those early on. And if you can take it at Mater Dei, that's great. We have no control over who signs up to take it at Mater Dei. So if Mater Dei is full, it's full. So that's why you want to sign up as early as you can. So in terms of Naviance, Naviance is an amazing tool. It will really help you understand yourself and what makes a good fit for you and what's out there. That might be schools that you didn't think of that is hitting all those non-negotiables that we talked about earlier. So I want you to do all those self-discovery assessments, okay? You can learn about your personality, understand your interests, your intelligences, great fits for careers and majors and learning environments. Okay, you can do a college search based on your priorities under the super match. The great thing about Naviance at Mater Dei is that if you're interested in seeing like what your likelihood of getting into the school is, where it fits in that, likely target or reach school, our Naviance has scattergrams. The scattergrams will tell you how many students from Mater Dei applied, how many got in, how many got denied based on their GPAs and test scores. So this is critical information for you as you're putting your list together. There's also a resume builder. So it actually mimics the college application resume or activities section. So I highly recommend that you put together your resume on Naviance. If you already have a resume, that's great. Please send that to your counselor because we will use that as we are writing your letters of recommendation. In order to complete data and have good data moving forward, we need you to enter all your colleges that you're applying to into Naviance. Even if it's in Common App or your own organizational document, it needs to go into Naviance. And here's an instructional video that you can watch and how to do that. So a little bit about financial aid. We will be hosting financial aid workshops this semester and next, but basically here are some types of aid. You can get free aid, which are grants and scholarships. You can get loans, which need to be paid back. Work study, where you work on campus and you get paid to do that. So in order to get any sort of financial aid from the school, you need to complete the FAFSA. Typically, the FAFSA opens in October, but you can actually do what's called the FAFSA Forecaster online and see what is required of you. Some schools will also require what's called the CSS profile, and this is paid. So the FAFSA is free, you don't have to pay for that. And the CSS profile, a lot of private schools will require students to complete that as well for scholarships and any institutional aid from that college. And you want to apply for scholarships like it's a part-time job. Okay, unlike the colleges, you definitely want to make sure that you're putting a lot of effort into applying for scholarships. And this is something parents can help, curate or research for their students. And we always recommend that you apply for financial aid, even if you think you don't need it. Sometimes students are required to fill out financial aid, even, for academic scholarships. So highly recommend you do that anyway. So here are some resources for your students, you students, to get help. So college visits come on every Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can find the list of colleges that are upcoming on Naviance. In our counseling office, we are offering college application assistance Thursdays after school, and that's every Thursday this semester. We will have Cal State and UC workshops as well. We're going to bring representatives from these universities to help you fill out those applications. We'll also give you essay assistance. You can book another appointment outside of your 30-minute senior meeting with your counselor to review your essay. There are English teachers that can help you as well. We'll have an essay review day on October 8th for seniors to get feedback from college representatives. Great resources online are the College Essay Guide and Princeton Review. So here are important dates. We highly recommend that you download the calendar from the Mater Dei website. You will also get this in an email as well that you could post up on your fridge. Sometimes our dates change, so keep checking back. But coming up, our senior meetings are beginning. NHS and CSF signups are coming up. The college athletics overview on September 23rd. We have a college chat on testing landscape on September 24th. The celebration of excellence is on September 29th. Our UC application workshop is in October, and so forth. So, and the big one that we really want you to keep on your calendar is the college fair on October 14th, and that will have close to 200 colleges coming. So that is a great opportunity to connect with colleges you're applying to and find hidden gems that you may have noticed are there. So here are some next steps. Have your seniors set up their counseling meeting. Counselors will email their Calendly links and instructions on how to prep for those meetings. When you're setting up your meeting, try to do it block 1 or 2 or 7 or 8. Make sure you avoid APs, honors, and days with tests and projects, okay? Seniors will be responsible for notifying your teachers of your appointment a few days, if not a week in advance. Parents are invited to attend. You're not required to attend. And students must watch this webinar prior to scheduling your appointment. And we will not be providing passes to students to come in. So students are going to have to be responsible, come in a few minutes before their scheduled time, and remember when their appointment is. We don't have time to contact your student and follow up. Okay, so they have to show up for their meeting. If they don't, we have to move on to the next appointment. Okay, so I surveyed all the parents about expectations for their counselor, and this is what we came up with. So I just want to tell you what the reality is when it comes to working with your counselor. So we got expectations of weekly essay editing. We cannot do that, right? We have a lot of students. We have close to 500 seniors. So what we can do is give big picture feedback, and we are encouraging the students to come to the essay review day, College App Thursdays, and use the resources that we have on campus. Okay. The deadline the hope is that we are tracking deadlines for students. Again, the students need to take ownership. Okay. This is their journey. They have to track their own deadlines and set up follow-up meetings with their counselors. We can send reminders and give them tools to keep track of their deadlines, but it's really the students' job. And we want parents to support that, but not do it for them, because this is an opportunity for development and growth, right? This is their first shot at really making a big decision and taking ownership of the process, because they're going off to college soon. So they're going to have to do it on their own at some point. We want more counselor availability. We would want to be more available, but like I said, we have close to 500 students and 1,800 in the school. So students need to plan their meetings ahead of time. We can take drop-ins during lunch or before and after school. And if you are waiting for an email or phone call response, know that we're busy. We're meeting with students throughout the day. So we're going to try to get back to you within 1 to 2 business days, don't be afraid to follow up. That's okay too. Okay. But know that we're working hard to meet with all our students and make sure they're on track. And emails and phone calls may have to wait until the end of the day or the next day. Step-by-step support is what is hoped for, but we do have one scheduled senior meeting. That's what we can offer, but students can come in and set up their follow-up meetings, okay? Counselor drives the process. That is the hope. No, the student leads the process. They are the driver. They need to be responsible and be given opportunities to even make mistakes through this process. It's okay. They can learn. Their counselors are there to hold them accountable and provide resources for them to go through this process successfully. Unlimited time and motivation. Actually, I think somebody did say that. We don't have unlimited time. Nobody does, right? Only God does. But we can provide encouragement and honest feedback. The student needs to manage their time and take advantage of the resource. We can provide reassurance and checkpoints for them. So, culture of care, this is a hard process. As you saw with the Holderness family, it is tough on students these days. There's a lot going on for students, whether it's, academics, sports, job, doing the best they can, being, AKA perfect. We don't expect perfection, right? And they will be rejected. And this is what I like to say is that rejection is just a redirection towards your God-given purpose. Okay. You never know when doors close, right? We say that there's open windows or open doors, and God only knows. And so being okay with the no's and the rejections that come through. And actually, if they're rejected, they did it right because they reached higher. And we want them to do that. We want to encourage them to reach higher. So as you're going through, the holidays or family gatherings or friends or whatever, parents try to avoid comparisons, judgments, or sharing too many intimate details with others, okay? This process is your student's unique journey, and everybody has a unique journey. The best gift you can give is to keep it safe, supported, and centered on them. Celebrate all decisions no matter where they get in. I often hear like, how did Johnny get in? He has a lower GPA and didn't do as much as my kid. We don't know what the school is looking for. We don't know what that student put on their application and what they're going through. So as our students are hearing back from colleges and making decisions, we invite them to come ring our college bell. We started this tradition last year and the students absolutely loved it. We rang a bell, we put them on our Instagram, we celebrate all decisions, whether it's 4-year college, 2-year college, trade school, military, work, whatever it is. We want to celebrate everybody's journey. Okay, so encourage them to come in, and we usually tag the university, and parents love to see this on our Instagram page. So thank you so much for attending the webinar and watching the webinar. If you could take a moment to fill out the survey so we can make sure that we are offering the best information in the best way possible. Thank you so much, and God bless.